Hi there, I'm Kendall, and this is day 17, or week 3 of Kendall Writes a Story. So for those of you that are new and or not new, I'm Kendall, and this show is a show about me, a mid-career professional, writing a story for the first time, and I wanted to invite you along that journey. So today there's generally 3 things that I've talked about in these episodes. I've talked about the story I'm writing, I've talked about story craft, me learning how to write a story, and I've talked about the research it takes or the research I've been doing to write the story, right? This is a historical story, so there's a lot of research. So today I wanted to share a new tool that I found. I kind of feel silly that it is new to me, but if it's new to me, it's probably new to a lot of folks. So I've got my screen share set up. Let's jump in and I'll walk you through it. Before the internet, right? So in time before the internet, people still had to have access to information. They still had to know in-depth things, right? And that's what historians, and I am not a historian. I'm trained in those processes, but I want to be very clear, I don't have a postgraduate degree or anything like that. But generally historians are trained on the types of resources that exist out there, right? The types of publications, the where to find certain bits of information, right? Almanacs, encyclopedias, things like that. So there was one of those that was new to me, and that is the Appleton's American Cyclopedia. So I pulled up a really nice eBay page. I don't know who the seller is, but right, we've all seen somewhere these big leather-bound books. And so at one point, there was a company between 1861 and the early 1900s, Appleton, who basically paid people, had researchers on staff who would spend an entire year researching the newspaper publications, the different sources of data, government publications of statistics and facts, right? All the different data that came out of the world, they would review that and then make an encyclopedia for that year. And that to me is why this is very unique and different. This is not just, the encyclopedia that we all, or people my age in their 30s or older, had as kids. We still had one when I was a kid, where you'd look up Volkswagen and it would tell you, the history would be like half a page of here's, the basic information. This isn't like that. This is much more in-depth and a really cool tool. So, and they look pretty. The good news is a lot of them are digitized. So Google Books, which I'm going to pull up on my screen share now, actually has a lot of the years for this. So again, this company only produced these between 1861 and I think 1902 or 1903, something like that. So you're not going to have this for every year, but if you are doing research in that period, this is super cool. So as you can see, it's lots of volumes, it's hundreds and hundreds of pages, but let me just take you for an example. I'm going to go to page 32 because this is where I was doing my research. Whoops. Okay, Arkansas, right? So they have, again, like an encyclopedia, they have entries alphabetically and on presumably anything that you would want to know, right? If you want to know what happened in the Argentine Republic in 1873 is the year we have up, then you could do that on this. But we don't want to know that. We do want to know what happened in Arkansas. So, as you can see here, right, it just starts kind of talking and it truly, I'm obviously not going to read any of this to you. I would encourage you, this is a free resource. You can Google it right now. Appleton's Encyclopedia, 1873. It will show up on Google Books because that's how I'm viewing it. It is free and you can save it to your profile if you'd like, or save it to your library if you'd like. But give it a gander because they publish, so they hit all the major areas: innovation, economics, politics, war, social unrest, all of these things. They hit all of them. They include publications of speeches. They include parts of bills, parts of laws. It seems quite thorough. They include, let me scroll down here, they include statistical figures for like crop production. I remember seeing that, and I may not be able to find it on this one because it is many pages long. But if you look like earlier in the year, or earlier in the encyclopedia. Under agriculture, there we go, they'll have all the tables. So if you're, if you're a researcher in 1875, 1876, and you want to put that together, you're a newspaper writer and want context, this is how you would find it. You would have these encyclopedias. Your law firm, your school would buy these. They'd spend a lot of money buying these so that it was your internet, so that you could go and see, hey, what happened last year? But it is quite thorough. I was giggling last night when I was looking at this because I was reading, there's this occurrence that I think is going to be a very prominent occurrence in my story. It's called the Brooks-Baxter War. I mean, this is not taught in high school, but it was a thing that happened in Arkansas, basically where there were two governors who both said they were governor. That's the short version of it. And so for a year and a half, I mean, imagine this, a year and a half, they squabbled. They tried to arrest Anyway, that's the resource I wanted to share. It's kind of fun, fun for me. And if you do, and these were usually done like a year or two after the fact. So the one I'm reading from 1873 was published in 1875. So this was meant to be a contemporary resource. This was meant to be like for somebody in that time to be able to know what just happened, a year or two ago, to be able to research, to be able to look it up so they can write about it or defend it in court or whatever. Really cool stuff. I mean, these are things that, now kind of getting a little ethereal, these are things that I think about fairly frequently, right? I'm a recruiter in my day job, and I've wondered, like, what does my job look like 30 years ago when there was no internet? Because I spend most of my day on the internet, right? Looking at resumes, reaching out to people. And so, you think 150 years ago and wonder, how did they share this information? How did they know that? How was this kept? Was everybody just walking around not knowing, what the weather was? And so it's cool to see that, right? Like, we all know life existed pre-internet, but when you dig down a little bit, sometimes it is somewhat baffling to actually conceive of what that looks like. Kind of like we all know that $1 trillion exists, but it's very difficult to conceive what that would look like, right? So anyway, I thought there's at least one other human on this planet who didn't know about the Appleton Cyclopedia and would like to know about them and would find it fun. So yeah, go crazy. I mean, they have all kinds. Like, really, like, if you're bored one day, if you're a nerd like me and like history, you really should download a year that looks fun to you, maybe the year of an election, or the year, maybe if you know, like, your ancestry, the year someone died or was born. I don't know, pick a year and go look and kind of see what you see. It's cool. Just pick a topic. Ku Klux Klan, they have entries in here, right? So you want to learn about them? Fine. Anyway, that's all I have to share. So have a great week. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for chiming in. And I will be here on Friday with our next episode, which will be on the story that I'm writing. I have some updates on it, so I hope you're ready to hear them. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye.